Hi, good morning, everybody. I can see the numbers have gone up quite significantly, so thank you for joining us on this Friday morning, getting ready for the weekend and joining us for a 30 minutes introduction to GovernorHub. I know that we have various people signed up for this webinar. We've got existing customers who are looking to find out more about GovernorHub. We've got people who have never used GovernorHub before who might be looking at what GovernorHub can offer their board. And so I hope that today you can take something away that's useful. And also at the end, I hope that if you want to know more, I can show you where you can find out more about GovernorHub as well. And my name's Jane, so I work for the support team at GovernorHub. I'm joined by Leonie, who also works for the support team, and also the lovely Jade, who is going to be answering your questions in the chat. So if you've got any questions as you go along, pop them in the chat and Jade will be able to answer them. And also, I'm joined by Polly, who is our marketing executive also. So, GovernorHub, we are here to support great governance for you. I'd like to start by just telling you a little bit more about GovernorHub, about who we are and what we do. We support many, more than 600 plus academy trusts now and 13,000 schools. I think that number's up to 16,000 now. So a lot of governors and schools and trusts use GovernorHub and put their trust in us. And we're very grateful and honoured to be trusted with that. We are a very, very experienced team, which I'll talk more about in a minute. And here's, you can see on the screen some of the things that our users are saying about us. We have a really strong relationship with our customers at GovernorHub. We are certainly not one of those egg tag companies who throw a login at you and off you go and get on with it. We are here to help you get it set up properly. We're here to help you make the best of it and to answer any questions that you have and support you with any issues that you have as you go along. You can see from the quotes that are on the screen, but one of the great things about GovernorHub is it saves a lot of time. It also helps your boards communicate and get organised. And quite crucially, it's a system that's developed by governors for governors. And I think that is a really important thing to point out because you can have a lot of document storage solutions for your governance papers, but GovernorHub has been designed just for governance. That's exactly what it's there for. So because of that, it really is attuned to the needs of a governing board. So as I mentioned before, with GovernorHub, you are in very good hands. We're a team of experienced governors and educators. Lots of us have backgrounds as teachers and school leaders, and we also have a lot of governance experience too. I myself govern at a middle school in Whitley Bay, where I live. We also have trustees on our team. We have governors in all through schools, in secondary schools, in primary schools. We have a huge range of governance experience on the team. So we live this every day as well. As well as GovernorHub, we also campaign in the background to raise the profile of governance. And I'm sure some of you may have heard of GovernorHub through those channels. We were recently, for example, mentioned in the governance guide as a great resource, particularly the Hoot, which you can see the picture on the screen, is designed. It's a great resource for helping governance. We also partner with other governance charities and organisations such as Governors for Schools and iGovs, and the Hoot, as I said, I'll show you a little bit more about the Hoot as we go in and look at the system. So just to give you the sort of highlights about GovernorHub before we go in and look at the nitty-gritty of it. First of all, it's a secure place to store all of your governance work. So it's obviously it has a document storage system, but that system is very secure. It's cloud-based, and also there are a number of other features that the document system has, which Leonie's going to show you in a moment, such as you can restrict visibility of folders, you can share folders directly to the notice board, you can set review dates for documents, and you can also sign things remotely. So lots of useful features for your day-to-day governance needs. There's also a calendar. And the calendar helps everyone on your board get organised with this shared calendar. You can subscribe to the calendar. So if you use Outlook or a Google or an Apple calendar in your day-to-day life, the governance meetings can appear in that calendar. And so it can help you get organised. So you're not looking at multiple calendars to organise your life. Nobody needs that in their life. The calendar also allows your clerk to take attendance within the calendar event and also link documents and Teams links to the event as well, so that when you log into GovernorHub in your upcoming events, all of your calendar events pop up and you can quickly find the folders and the documents for a meeting without having to search through a documents system. GovernorHub also has a board membership area where you can manage membership. So at a glance, you can see who's on the board, you can see what committees they're part of, what roles they have, and you can see the appointments of the people on your board. So it's lovely for visibility and for just knowing who everybody is on your board and what they do. And your admins can very quickly update and keep up to date that membership area. So it's always there. There's a notice board, and you can use this to communicate with each other. It's very secure, and you can upload, you can notify the board that papers have been uploaded and link to other documents. And you can also have conversations via the notice board. And when you post on the notice board, it triggers an email alert, so you don't miss anything. You don't miss any of that crucial messaging and conversations that are going on. Very, very importantly these days, GovernorHub also is a secure body of evidence for when you need it most. So you can, because a lot of information is stored within GovernorHub about your board, you can very quickly pull off reports. And, you might have had to create these manually, spreadsheets. No one should really have to be doing that these days. GovernorHub will be able to pull off information and pull off reports such as training records, current members, declaration of interest, compliance. There's a whole load of different reports that you can pull off about your board quickly when you need them. So, if you have an external audit or you have an Ofsted, you can very quickly generate the information that you need. And the last point that I want to make is, obviously, and I think this is the most important one, but I am slightly biased working on the support team. GovernorHub has friendly, experienced support at your fingertips. So as I mentioned right at the start, it isn't just we give you a login and you get on with it. We have a chat button. So you can hit the blue button from within GovernorHub and you can contact one of the support team about any sort of issue that you're having or any question that you have about GovernorHub as you're using it. If you can't access that, you can actually email support@governorhub.com and it goes to the same place, the same team of people who are always happy to help you make the most of the product. And we really want you to use every feature as fully as you can. Right, so I'm going to just come out of this now and I'm going to go into GovernorHub to show you a bit more about it. So when you are added to a board on GovernorHub, you are sent a registration email. So an admin adds you to the board and you get sent a registration email, and it has a link where you can set up your profile on GovernorHub and set up your login. And your login is your email and a password, a secure password that you set up for your login. You can also add multi-factor authentication as well as an additional layer of security, where there's you use an authenticator app to enter a 6-digit code. So that also is a possibility as well. Now, when you sign in, this is the landing page. So you have Governor News. There's a Governor News feed there of all the latest stories that are going on in the news. At the top is your name, where you can access your profile. There's also what we call a washing line, which is where all of your boards hang. So if you're on one board, you will just have one tile here. If you're part of a trust, you will have a resources tab for the trust. And if your board has a GovernorHub Knowledge subscription, you would have an icon for GovernorHub Knowledge. But if you just have basic GovernorHub and you're just on one board, you would just have the tab for your board that has the name of your academy or school. At the right-hand side is that upcoming events that I mentioned to you when I was talking about the calendar. So anything that is in your calendar and is upcoming will appear at the right-hand side. Now, as a governor, I find this incredibly useful because we're very, governors are busy people, they're volunteers, and, you might have a day job and you're coming to a governor meeting and you quickly need to access something. And in this upcoming events, you can see the meeting details. You can actually go straight to the meeting folder and access the paperwork for that meeting. If it's a hybrid or a virtual meeting, you can access the joining instructions as well. So that ease of access of finding what you need quickly is really, really crucial and very, very useful, because, you know, these little irritating things, if you get them out of the way and you can just access what you need, it actually helps you just get on with the governance bit, which is the bit that you're actually there for. So I really, really enjoy using the upcoming events because I find it very useful for that reason. Right, I'm going to start with the profile. So when you click on your name at the top right, you can access your individual profile. Now, you can add a picture. This is where you can update your contact details and your email address. If you're concerned about who can see that information, so there's a little button here that says who can see this. When you first set up your details, you can choose whether you want them to be visible to other members of the board or just admins. So there's a toggle there where you can actually hide your contact details from the board if you wish to do that. You can also add governor experience. There's a box for diversity if you choose to complete that. And also there's a really useful bit here underneath the picture, which is where you can write down a little biography about yourself, which is a good place to put like a pen portrait. If you're using pen portraits, you could put a little bit of information there about yourself. The second tab is the compliance tab. Now, this is where you make your declaration of interest. Now, when you open up this area, anything that you've already added will be here, and you can edit it, you can delete it, or you can add a new interest as well. Every time you make a change to this area, it asks you to reconfirm your declaration. So let's just make a change now. Let's just say I'm going to add a new declaration of interest. I'm going to say it's a family relationship, and I'm going to say my son attends this school, and it's from, you can select the date that this is appropriate from. And when you add it, you've made a change. So I've added a new interest and I'm prompted to reconfirm it. Now, when I hit reconfirm, what it does is it updates that date. So the date that I last confirmed them is logged. Now, we often get asked, what do you do if you don't have a declaration of interest? Well, two things I'd say here. We have a little button here that has more information that tells you what you should declare. So for maintain schools on 4 academies. If you have nothing to declare, and I'll just quickly remove these now so you can see what that would look like. When you first go into it, it looks like this. So it says no interest declared. So if you have no interest to declare, all you need to do is click confirm, because what you're doing there is you're confirming on this date that you have no interests to declare. And that information can then be downloaded by your board admins and accessed really, really easily. Now, the same thing for keeping children safe in education. So we have for everybody as a default, there is a link to the latest version of Keeping Children Safe in Education. Now, that link is due to be updated very, very shortly. We're just waiting for the new version of Keeping Children Safe to be completely agreed. I know there's a kind of draft thing out there now, and we have an article about that on GovernorHub Knowledge, but this will be updated for September, and governors, again, just click to confirm that they've read it. So they read the document and then click to confirm that they've read Keeping Children Safe in Education. And again, your board admins can download a list of who has confirmed so that you can show your compliance. And that's very, very important, isn't it, to be able to very, very quickly get your hands on information that demonstrates board compliance. Underneath that are any confirmations that have been set up by your admins. So there are bespoke confirmations that you can set up for your board, such as I agree to the code of conduct with a link to your code of conduct. I agree to the online safety policy. Anything that you want to set up for your board can be set up and it's confirmed in the same way. So it's just you click to read the document and then click to confirm. So it's really, really neat and tidy because all of your compliance is under that one tab. Very, very useful. The next tab under your profile is your training tab. Now here, any training that you've undertaken is recorded. If you complete the training through GovernorHub, we have a range of online courses on GovernorHub Knowledge, and if your board has a subscription, it may be that you complete one of our courses on GovernorHub Knowledge. It automatically adds to the training record. So if you completed our safeguarding course, you would see the safeguarding course in the log, and the little cloud here is your certificate, and you can download your certificate. If you complete a course externally, so if you do a course through National College or through the NGA or some other provider like a local authority, you can add a new training record, and you can put the date, the name of the training, you can select the date of the training, and again, actually you can upload your certificate as well to keep it all in one place, and you can click save, and that updates your training record. And again, very, very useful because you can download a training record for the board, and you can show that your board is compliant, that everybody has completed the safeguarding course. If you've got interviews coming up at your school, you can demonstrate that you have the required number of safer recruitment trained governors, etc., etc. So all of that training is kept in one place. Right, moving away from the profile now, let's just look at the washing line. So we have the board hangs as an icon on the washing line, and you click on the name of your board, your school or your academy. And we have, there's a notice board that I mentioned earlier, there's the calendar, there's the documents section, there's the board management area, and there's the About tab, which is where you can do your download. So we'll start with the notice board. So you can message other governors, you can have discussions with your board here, and your clerk can quite crucially notify everybody that they've uploaded the documents for the meeting. So they can actually add a little link. They can find the folder for the meeting. So let's just say it's the summer folder, and they can link it there. And when they click send, everybody will get a notification that that is there. Now, the default is all members of the board, but if it's a committee meeting, there is a drop down, and you can actually just choose one of your committees or individual governors if you don't want to email everybody. So when you click send, the default is that it sends it to everybody. And then it's great because everybody can see on the board that the papers are there. They can click the link and go straight to the folder for the meeting. They don't have to go, oh, the papers are there. We need to go through the Teams folders or the documents folders and find the folder. Or somebody's moved the folder into another folder. None of that, because the link is there. You can then add a reaction. Like, oh, that's good. I've seen that message. Or you can add a comment. Or a question, like that. And you can have a conversation. It's a thread, isn't it? And you can have a visible conversation with all members of the board, which is great for sort of transparent governance. You can pin things to the top. So if you're posting something that's really important for the next half term, or it just needs to stay at the top of the notice board thread, you can pin it to the top. And when you do that, you can pick a title, like this is about a meeting, so I'll call it Full Governing Board Meeting. You can pin it, and then that will always stay at the top. So if other things are posted on the notice board, that's going to stay at the top. And then when you've finished with it and it doesn't need to be at the top anymore, you can just unpin the post like that. You can also filter posts as well. So when you add a post, admins can add topics to posts. So you could search for posts and say, right, I just want to see all the posts about meetings. And when you add that, what it does is it filters so that you only get the posts that have hashtag meetings on them. Or you could say, I only want to see posts about safeguarding, and then it'll only pull things that are about safeguarding off as well. So it just helps you a little bit with the organisation of the notice board. As it gets bigger, it becomes a little bit more searchable if you add topics to the posts. Right, I'm going to talk about the calendar next. Now, as I mentioned, the calendar is, you can subscribe to it. So you can have the meetings merge into your existing calendar using this subscribe button here. It's colour coded. So each of your committees is allocated a colour. So you can see at a glance in the calendar what kind of meeting it is. You can look week view, but you can also look list view. List view is really quite useful because it shows you the meetings for the next 120 days. And you can view the meeting details. If it's a hybrid meeting, you can go to the joining instructions. And again, you've got that link to the meeting document folder. And I love the way you have all these different places where you can access the documents for the meeting, because you can't miss where your folder is for the meeting. To create an event is really simple. You just click add, you give it a title, You say where the meeting's going to be held. You can add the video or webinar details here. You can select whether it's for a committee or it's for the whole board, who the clerk is. You can add the folder for the meeting to the event like this. So that's attached to the calendar event. And then you can add all the members. And you can see here, what's great about this is when it comes to the meeting, the clerk can take attendance. So they can say, right, I'm in the meeting. Apologies, weren't here. They can actually just click, and that attendance data is logged so that you can then download an attendance report and track governor attendance as well. Another really useful feature that just takes away a job. So that's the calendar. Now we're going to move on to the documents section. So I'm going to pass over at this point to my colleague Leonie, who is going to demonstrate the documents section. I'll keep my screen on here. And Leonie, Leonie, are you going to share your screen?
Yes, I will need to share my screen, please.
Fine. I'll stop my share and then pass over to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Okie dokie. So we are going to talk about the documents. Just move that over there. About the documents area. So this is the area where we store all of our documents. So you can see we've got everything split up into folders here. To add a new folder, it's really easy. We just go to this add button. Okay, create a new folder. Give it a title and then click create, and that will create a new folder down here as well. We can create subfolders within as well, as Jane has already shown. So here are all of our subfolders as well. Within them, we can upload documents, again, via this add button. So upload a file, or you can add a web link as well. And we'll get to that in just a second. Okay, so we've got all of our documents here. If you need to have them in a certain order, we find numbering them really, really helpful for doing it that way. So we've got the name of the folder. We've got when it was last modified as well, and who it is visible to. So by default, all the documents are visible to the local board. But if you are an admin of a committee, you are able to restrict these folders. So for example, procedural docs is currently visible to the local board, but if you are an admin on a committee, you will see the option to restrict it to other committees. So I can change it to, here we go. I've now changed it, so only members of the admin committee are able to see this folder. If you need to change it back, it's the same option there. You can also see that this is locked, so that means that only admins can modify it. They can only modify the folder, and it also means that no one can download anything that is in that folder as well. This is an admin feature, so you need to click on the three dots here, and you can unlock it or lock it using this option here. Okay. Like with posts, you can also pin them to the top of the folder. For example, these are pinned up here. We can also copy a link to the clipboard. We can share it on the notice board, or we can download it as well. We've also got some pinned items up here. So these are links. If you need to add a link, it's that same add button. But instead of create a new folder, you click add a web link. We put the link in there. Put the link in here and add the link name there as well. So that makes it a little bit more straightforward when trying to find bits and pieces. So this is the document area. If we go on to the local board area, this is where all the information about who is on the board is stored. So we've got the members. You will need to be an admin on the account in order to add members, but that's also nice and straightforward. It's this add member button here. You will need their email address, and it will then talk you through whether they've already got an account and sending them a registration email to register on the board as well. And we can see here, so we've got Ellie on our board. We can see that she's the chair. We've got options. We could make her an admin if we need to send a password email or viewing the full profile. Again, these are admin only options. And if we need to add any appointments, that's done here as well. We've got a very long click down menu here of the different appointments that are available. So there we go. And we can add when they were first appointed and any additional information as well. So I'll just fill that in. There we go. And if we ever need to remove anyone from the board, you just click the remove there as well. You can also see historical members. So this will show a chronological timeline of anyone who has historically been on part of the board and any committees they were a part of. We've also got a section for roles. So here you can assign roles, remove roles, or you can also add custom roles. So we don't have a drop-down menu for this, but if you need to add any additional roles, you can type that in there, add it. And if I need to assign it to somebody, I've got this plus option here. There we go. And we can assign it like that one. We've got our committees tab. So this is where we find all the details of the committees on our board. So we've currently got these ones. But if I need to make any amendments, we can add members, we can rename the committee, or we can remove it if it's no longer needed. But in order to restrict the folders, you do need to be an admin within the committee as well. And if we need to add a new committee, nice and straightforward, we just enter the new committee name in there, and then that will create it. Okay, we've also got the constitution as well. So we can see how many positions, how many vacancies are there as well. And again, we just click this three-dot menu and we assign members to the constitution in here. And if we scroll down, you also see the other members. So these are people who are on the board who are not part of the constitution, and they are stored down there as well. Okay, we've also got the compliance area. So this helps you to monitor the compliance across the whole board, not just your individual profile. So for example, if I click on declarations of interest, I can see who on the board has completed their declarations of interest. And this is also RAG rated as well. So everyone in green is within date, but I can see that Sarah hasn't confirmed it. I have the option to send a reminder. So if I click this button, and this will only be sent to those who have not confirmed and are not compliant. Okay. And that will share it onto the notice board and send an email to them as well. Okay, and then if I go to the About tab, okay, so here are our settings. So you can change the logo. You can also change what it's referred to. It might not be a local board, it might be a governing board, it might be a trust board. You can change that in there. And then we've also got the Downloads tab. So down here is where you can download all of the reports that are generated for the board. So for example, we've got the board diversity data report, and this pulls all the data from people's profiles. But bear in mind that in order for it to be anonymous, the report will only download if there's a certain number of people who have uploaded that information, and that varies from board to board depending on how many are needed to keep that anonymous. We've also got confirmations. So we've got a confirmations report. Here we go. It shows all the members on the board, whether they're registered, DBS checked, what they've confirmed, and if it's not in there, it shows that it's still outstanding. So that's a good overview on that one. You can also see training records, which is, let me just move that over. Oh, there we go. And we can see, for example, all of Ellie's training when it's been completed. And again, another good overview on there. There we go. And you can download them in multiple formats where available. And the last tab here is just the permissions tab. It's just a quick overview of who, if you've got multiple boards, who can see what members can see, and what admins can see as well. Okay, I'm going to pause there because I'm aware we're coming to the end.
Thank you so
I'll pass
much.
back over to Jane.
Thank you so much, Leonie. That was really clear. Thank you. I've just got a couple more things to show you before we close. So I did mention the hoot earlier. I just want to show you that. So I'm just going to go over to my screen again. So there's two ways you can access the hoot. One is from within GovernorHub. There's a link there that gets you to the hoot. But you can also, it's an open access site. So you can go to thehoot.news. And you will see we have a lot of articles about governance, about anything that's topical at the moment. You can also sign up to our weekly news briefing. So every week, Leonie uploads this weekly news briefing, and it's basically all of the top stories to do with education and resources that can help you with whatever that is. So you can see, for example, in the news this week, almost as many teachers left the profession as entered it last year. what resources can help you with that. There's even some resources from GovernorHub Knowledge there. It'll have the week's headlines and any key dates. And you can actually sign up to that so that every week you get an email with the education news. And, I think as we come to an election soon, there's going to be lots of education news when we have the outcome of that. And you can keep on top of that by signing up to the Hoot, which, as I say, is absolutely free. You don't even need to have a GovernorHub subscription to sign up to the Hoot. The other thing I wanted to show you was the help, because I did plug that quite loudly at the beginning. So there are lots of ways you can get help. So we have our little blue chat button here. You can hit that blue button and you can send us a message and we'll get back to you very quickly, always same day, but usually quicker than that, depending on how busy we are. Or you can email support@governorhub.com to get support. We also have a help centre, which is here, where you can search for articles like, oh, I want to change my email address. And that you'll find there's an article with a step-by-step with screenshots for how to do that. Now, I'm aware that we've covered a lot in a short time, and there is actually much more that we could have said about GovernorHub because there are lots of elements to it. For example, there is a lot of, if you're a trust governance professional, there are a lot of mapped functionality within GovernorHub that I haven't shown you this morning. But if you're interested in knowing more about that, please do email support@governorhub.com because we can demonstrate to you the mapped functionality of GovernorHub in another session. We also have regular training that we do provide like this. So about GovernorHub, about GovernorHub knowledge, about different areas of the site, like how to do your declarations. And I think if Jade's just going to pop the link in the chat now, if you want to open that up and bookmark it, that article has all of our upcoming training and also recorded training. So if you have new governors joining your board and you want to keep them up to speed with GovernorHub, you can share them a YouTube link from that list of links that Jade's sharing, and that will immediately get them up to speed with GovernorHub as well. Now, I also think that Polly is going to pop in the chat a survey link. Please, please, please do complete that survey. We really, really hope this session's been useful for you. You'll receive a recording if you feel that, oh my goodness, that was so much, I can't remember it all. You will receive a recording by email so you can watch it at your leisure. Share it with other people on your board who might be interested in knowing more about GovernorHub. And I'll just repeat my offer from a moment ago. If you want to know more, so if you have any more questions or if you don't currently subscribe and you want to know more about the ways you could subscribe, please contact support@governorhub.com. If you're a map governance professional and you want to know more about the map functionality, again, please contact support@governorhub.com and we can give you some more information about that. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, and we hope that you enjoy your weekend and that the weather improves. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day.